Welcome to this micro class. Today we are going to talk about how to establish authority in academic writing. The video will start from the reason why we need to establish authority in academic writing, and then we will move on to how we can establish authority and credibility. Academic writing is not just about conveying an ideational content. It is also about the representation of self. It is suggested that academic prose is not completely impersonal, but that writers can gain credibility by projecting an identity invested with individual authority, displaying confidence in their evaluations and commitment to their ideas. However, not all writers, especially L2 writers, are conscious of the importance of establishing authority in their writing. For academic writing, one of the most common problems is that the writer's voice is buried in quotes from other scholars. The reason why academic writers sometimes embed their ideas too deeply in the respected terms of well-known researchers is because letting their voice ring out clearly may leave them exposed and vulnerable to criticism. A whispering voice, however, may never be heard. Editors often reject submissions because they don't offer a fresh perspective or make a substantial contribution to what is already known. Though an actual lack of substance surely sinks some submissions, others simply fail to make their real merits clearly heard. Ironically, this problem with authority and voice for academic authors grows from the same soil that nourishes the vitality of academic inquiry. Though many researchers work alone, advancing knowledge is an inherently communal enterprise. New ideas, questions, and discoveries take their meaning from how they relate to, revise, or add to the best of what has already been thought and said. So, explaining how your research builds on earlier work is necessary because it helps your audience to see the significance of your work. In this sense, locating your perspective as a scholar in relation to ongoing debates in your field is an essential foundation for establishing the authority of your voice. A solid foundation, though, supports a building. It does not overshadow it. A sure sign that a writer's authority is being overshadowed by what should be its foundation is a draft that looks like this. The manuscript begins with an epigraph from a famous critic. It then proceeds to provide an overview of the works of many other critics who have addressed the article's topic before hinting at the author's own take on the subject, often several pages into the manuscript. People call this hiding in plain sight or hiding in a forest of citations. Fortunately, this problem can be resolved easily by using some common rhetorical strategies. That is what we are going to talk about in the second part of this video, how to establish authority. If you suspect your voice isn't coming through clearly to your audience, consider using the following 4 techniques in revising your work. Use of first-person pronouns. Perhaps the most visible manifestation of an authorial identity is the use of first-person pronouns and their corresponding determiners. But while the use of these forms are a powerful rhetorical strategy for emphasizing a contribution, many second-language writers feel uncomfortable using them because of their connotations of authority. What we should know is that first-person pronouns do appear in academic writing to clarify the author's contribution and authority. Consider the impact of such choices of first-person pronouns in these examples from a research article corpus. You can pause the video and read those excerpts on your own, and we can see the use of first person allows these writers to emphasize and to seek agreement for their own contributions. It leaves readers in no doubt where they stand and how their statements should be interpreted. First person, then, is a powerful means by which writers express an identity by asserting their claim to speak as an authority. And this is a key element of successful academic writing. The second strategy we can use is to front-load what matters most to you. Insert a clear statement of your primary point or question close to the beginning of your manuscript. We call this front-loading the argument, and it's a wise strategy indeed in this age of information overload. The third strategy is to balance abstraction with concreteness. Concrete language is a magic bullet for improving style. Ironically, the very simplicity of concrete images and direct word choice may be one reason academic writers too seldom use them. But as Sword argues, just a few visual images or concrete examples, words that engage the senses and anchor your ideas in physical space, can combat the numbing sense of disorientation that most readers feel when confronted with too much abstraction. Furthermore, the act of choosing which concrete image to use to illustrate an abstract claim also tends to call forth or bring about what is distinctive about your own voice. And the fourth strategy is to craft overt transitions between sections of your argument. Readers often need a bridge to follow from one segment of an argument to the next. Overt transitions, for instance, may explain why point B logically follows point A. Often, writing a transition sentence or paragraph requires you to articulate how the parts of your argument build on one another. As with the choice of concrete examples, the articulation of transitions tends to call forth your own voice. When you highlight the threads that bind different parts of your argument together, what is distinctive to your perspective is often clearer. To recap, the above techniques can help to clarify and strengthen your voice and authority, and they are also generally considered to be hallmarks of good writing. Reflecting on what good writing really means to you as a reader can be another step toward defining your own voice. The point that I want to make in this video is that it is important for you to use an authoritative yet approachable voice in your own writing. To write with authority, present thoughts easily, clearly, and with confidence. And then you can be more and more efficient and experienced writer in academic prose. Thanks for watching and see you next time.